If you own any of these basketball shoes, this video is going to sting. The basketball shoe industry runs on one assumption: you will never look past the commercial. 10 shoes are ranked from overpriced to outright predatory. Each one is exposed by the gap between build cost and sticker price. But the worst offender on this list is not just expensive. It is a business model designed to extract money from people who confuse a logo with actual performance. Starting at number 10 with a shoe that costs less to build than your post-game meal. Number 10. The Puma MB series promised LaMelo Ball's flashy game in sneaker form. The retail price lands between $100 and $120, but independent teardown estimates put the build cost for Puma's basketball shoes in the $18 to $22 range. Nitro Foam, the supposed flagship technology, tested squarely in the middle of the pack when independent running labs compared it to Adidas Boost and Nike React for energy return. Not terrible, but nowhere near the top tier that the marketing suggests. The real problem shows up in player reviews. Heel slippage is the most common complaint across the MB line, with players reporting their foot lifting out of the shoe on hard cuts and lateral movements. The thick mesh upper traps heat. The outsole picks up dust like a lint roller, and the court feel is mushy instead of responsive. Meanwhile, StockX confirms what the performance numbers already tell you. Not a single MB release has held above retail on the aftermarket. Most pairs crater to $50 or $60 within weeks. The math is a six-fold markup on a shoe that independent testers rank as average and the resale market treats as disposable. You are not buying LaMelo's game. You are buying a mid-tier foam platform with a famous name glued to the tongue. Number 9. The Under Armour-Curry line once looked like the future of basketball footwear. Then the sales numbers came in. At its peak, the Curry brand was generating a few $100 million in revenue for Under Armour. By 2025, analysts estimated that figure had dropped at least 50%. In November of that same year, Under Armour and Steph Curry officially parted ways after a 12-year partnership, with the company absorbing $95 million in restructuring charges tied to the split. Sneaker analyst Matt Powell put it bluntly. Paying Curry $20 million a year for less than $100 million in total basketball sales is a money-losing proposition. The hover cushioning system, the centerpiece of the Curry line, consistently lagged behind Nike React and Adidas Boost in energy return tests. Resale values barely held 90% of retail. Under Armour's total global basketball revenue, including Curry, accounted for roughly 2% of the company's $5 billion in annual sales. You were not buying cutting-edge performance. You were subsidizing a celebrity relationship that even the brand itself could no longer justify financially. The Curry shoes are not bad shoes, but at full retail, you were paying for a relationship that the company decided was not worth keeping. Number 8. Nike's Giannis Immortality line sits at about $100 on the shelf, which sounds reasonable until you realize what you are actually getting. The Immortality is what the industry calls a takedown model. A budget shoe that borrows a star's name but strips out every premium feature from the real signature line. The Zoom Freak line, Giannis Antetokounmpo's actual signature shoe, features Zoom Air units and engineered mesh. The Immortality gets basic foam, a generic rubber outsole, and a textile upper that could be swapped for any house brand basketball shoe coming out of the same Vietnamese factory. The build cost hovers around $12 to $15. The markup is not the scandal. Budget shoes exist for a reason. The scandal is putting a two-time MVP's name on a shoe that offers nothing his actual signature line delivers, and banking on the assumption that casual buyers will not know the difference. Most do not. They see Giannis on the box, pay $100, and walk away with a shoe that performs like a $50 takedown from any other brand. Nike is not selling you performance at a fair price. They are selling you name confusion at a markup that only works because the average buyer does not read the fine print on the box. Number 7. The Jordan Zion signature line is one of the most inconsistent product runs in recent basketball shoe history. The Zion 1 was a lightweight, plastic-feeling shoe with middling cushioning. The Zion 2 was a robust, grippy, well-cushioned tank built for a player who weighs 284 pounds. Then Jordan Brand scrapped all of that for the Zion 3, a low-profile, Kobe-style shoe that reviewers openly said does not feel like it was designed for a 6'6" power forward. Every model has drawn complaints about an extremely narrow fit that punishes anyone without skinny feet. The traction pattern on the Zion 3 picks up dust like it was designed to fail on anything but a freshly mopped NBA court. One reviewer at RunRepeat called the outsole a dirt magnet. The Zion 4 launched to more of the same, with users on Nike Talk saying the toe box curves uncomfortably inward and the fit is too tapered. One user wrote, "Just like Zion Williamson's career, his shoe line has been lackluster." At $120 to $140, you are paying for a shoe that changes identity every year, fits a fraction of foot shapes, and is named after a player who has missed more games than he has played since being drafted. The math does not add up on any level. Number 6. The Adidas Harden Volume Series started strong. The Harden Volume 7 was widely considered one of the best basketball shoes of 2023, and it retailed for $160. But by the time the line stretched into Volumes 8, 9, and 10, the original energy had faded. James Harden's on-court stock declined as he bounced between teams, and the shoe's retail price stayed elevated while the performance innovation stalled. The build cost for an Adidas basketball shoe in this tier sits around $20 to $25 based on Teardown estimates and industry cost breakdowns. That is a roughly 7-to-1 markup. The Harden Volume 10 weighs in at over 15 ounces, one of the heaviest basketball shoes on the market, which undercuts its positioning for guards who need to move quickly. Harden signed a $200 million 13-year deal with Adidas back in 2015. That money has to come from somewhere, and it comes from the retail price of every pair. When a player's game declines but his shoe price does not, you are paying for legacy, not performance. The Harden line is not a ripoff. But buying it at full retail in 2025 or 2026 after the design peaked 2 generations ago is paying a premium for yesterday's innovation. If you are still with me and this list is making you rethink your shoe closet, hit subscribe. I cover this kind of breakdown every week, and the next 5 entries get significantly worse. Number 5. The Nike LeBron Witness line is the clearest example of brand dilution in basketball footwear. It retails between $100 and $110, carries the name of the highest-paid Nike athlete in history, and delivers a shoe that costs roughly $15 to manufacture. The Witness strips out Zoom Air in favor of basic foam cushioning, uses synthetic materials instead of the premium leather or engineered textiles on the signature LeBron line, and offers traction that reviewers consistently call adequate but unremarkable. What it does keep is the LeBron name. That is the entire value proposition. The real LeBron signature line, the LeBron 22, retails for $180 and actually features Zoom Turbo, Cushlon midsole technology, and a build that justifies a premium price. The Witness exists for one reason. It captures the buyer who wants the LeBron association but will not pay flagship prices. Nike counts on you not knowing the difference between a signature shoe and a takedown wearing the same name. The cost to make a Witness is nearly identical to the cost of making a $40 shoe at a department store. The extra $60 or $70 you pay at retail is not for technology, materials, or engineering. It is for the name on the tongue. You are not buying LeBron's shoe. You are buying a shoe that borrowed his name. Number 4. The Nike LeBron 21 through 23, the actual flagship line, has quietly crept from $180 to $210 per pair over the last 3 generations. The manufacturing cost for a Nike basketball shoe at this tier sits around $25 to $30 based on industry teardown analyses and the well-documented factory-to-retail pricing chain. Nike spends roughly $4.7 billion a year on what it calls demand creation, which includes athlete endorsements, advertising, and marketing. LeBron James alone holds a lifetime Nike deal estimated at $1 billion. Michael Jordan still earns $60 million a year in royalties from the Jordan brand. That money is baked into every shoe Nike sells. The LeBron 21 and 22 are genuinely strong performance shoes. Reviewers at WearTesters and RunRepeat consistently praise the traction and cushioning. But the translucent rubber outsole common across recent LeBrons is explicitly not designed for outdoor courts. The tread pattern is shallow and the rubber compound is soft, meaning anyone playing on asphalt or concrete will burn through the sole in weeks. For a $200 shoe, that is a design choice that protects Nike's replacement cycle, not your wallet. The math is brutal. $25 to build, $210 to buy, and if you play outside, you will need another pair before the season ends. You are paying for elite indoor performance wrapped in planned obsolescence for everyone else. Number 3. Jordan retro models marketed to basketball players are the sneaker industry's most successful bait and switch. The Air Jordan 1, 3, 4, and 11 are cultural monuments. They are also 40-year-old technology being sold for $180 to $220 to people who think they can hoop in them. The cushioning is basic encapsulated air, unchanged since the original releases. The leather creases and cracks within weeks of regular play. The outsole rubber on retros is notorious for yellowing, cracking, and separating, especially on pairs that sit in closets before being worn. Jordan brand generated over $5 billion in revenue under Nike in fiscal 2024, and the vast majority of that came from retro releases, not performance models. The build cost for a Jordan retro sits around $20 to $25. The materials are synthetic leather, basic rubber, and decades-old foam. There is zero modern cushioning technology, no Zoom Air, no React, no carbon fiber plate. If you are buying Jordan retros to play basketball, you are wearing a museum exhibit on a basketball court and paying luxury prices for materials that would not pass quality control on a modern budget shoe. Jordan retros are great sneakers. They are terrible basketball shoes, and every pair sold at $200 on the back of nostalgia is proof that the logo has completely replaced the product. Number 2. Skechers entering the basketball shoe market is the plot twist nobody asked for. When Joel Embiid left Under Armour and signed with Skechers, the comfort brand suddenly had a foot in performance basketball. The problem is everything behind the curtain. Skechers pulled in $8 billion in revenue last year, built almost entirely on memory foam insoles and relentless television advertising. The actual build cost for their core shoe line sits between $14 and $18 per pair based on Teardown reports. That includes an EVA midsole, a foam insole, and a mesh or synthetic upper assembled in Vietnam or China. Skechers does not have a basketball research and development lab. They do not have decades of performance testing data. They have a massive marketing budget and a willingness to pay NBA-caliber endorsement money to get into a category they have never competed in. When you buy a Skechers basketball shoe, you are funding a brand's entry into a market it has not earned, with technology borrowed from the walking shoe aisle. The same company that built its empire selling arch support to retirees now wants you to trust them with your ankles on a basketball court. The price is not the insult. The insult is the audacity of charging performance prices for comfort brand engineering. And number 1, any signature basketball shoe priced above $200 that belongs to a player who cannot stay on the court. This is not about one specific shoe. It is about the business model. Zion Williamson signed a $75 million Jordan brand deal in 2019 as a rookie. Since then, he has missed more games than he has played due to injuries, and his signature shoe line has been described by reviewers, retailers, and fans as inconsistent at best and terrible at worst. The shoes still retail for $120 to $140. Kevin Durant's lifetime Nike deal keeps producing shoes at $150 to $180, while his career winds down. Derrick Rose's Adidas deal paid out $185 million over 13 years, a period during which injuries turned a former MVP into a journeyman. The shoes kept coming. The prices never dropped. The industry's dirtiest trick is this. Endorsement deals are signed based on potential, priced based on hype, and never adjusted based on reality. When a player stops performing but the shoe price stays the same, the gap between what you are paying for and what you are getting becomes a canyon. The factory cost to build any of these shoes is between $15 and $30. Nike spent $4.7 billion on marketing last year. LeBron's lifetime deal is worth $1 billion. Michael Jordan earns $60 million a year without lacing up a single shoe. Every dollar of that comes out of the retail price you pay at the register. The basketball shoe industry survives because nobody demands receipts. Across all 10 entries, the pattern is identical. $15 to $30 in materials and labor, marked up 5 to 10 times, wrapped in a celebrity's name, and sold to buyers who equate a logo with performance. The mechanical testing data is public. Independent labs have confirmed there is no correlation between price and performance in basketball shoes. A $95 Adidas Pro Spark once outperformed a $240 LeBron in braking traction, energy return, and forefoot cushioning in controlled mechanical tests run by Sport Insight for CBC Marketplace. The most expensive shoe in the test group did not win a single category. The math is right there. Stop paying for a name when you could be paying for a shoe. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.